Welcome to the IonaHoops.com podcast with your host, Guy Flatico.
It's March. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone in Gale Nation. It's season 5, episode 17, IonaHoops.com podcast, and it's MAAC Tourney time. Yeah, I know. It's been a while since I've put up a podcast episode. Where have I been? Well, it's been a little hectic. Things have been a little uneven in life in general. And with the program as well. But hey, here we are at the sweet time, riding a 3-game winning streak. What else can we want? We've got a very, very busy episode here. I've got several Ionas, and then of course we're going to recap yesterday's exciting win over Sacred Heart. We'll have the full press conference from yesterday as well, and then we'll take also a look at the MAAC women's and men's tournament brackets, and I'll share some thoughts about what I think might be happening in Atlantic City. So let's get into all that fun. This is going to be a long episode, so buckle up, but hey, it's a MAAC Tourney preview episode. It's supposed to be long. And of course, I'll be down in Atlantic City giving you full coverage of both the women and the men. I'm not sure of a episode schedule or anything like that yet. We'll just have to play all that out. We'll see what requires what as things happen down in Atlantic City. But I'll be down there. So if you're going to be down there and I've never met you in person, please come up and say hi. I'm sure you can find a picture of my face, which of course is made for radio. So anyway, come say hello in Atlantic City and let's get into some Iotas. Iotas. It is MAAC Tourney preview season, as I've been saying. So there's a lot coming up in these next couple of days. You're going to have enough to listen to, believe me. I know this podcast episode is going to be long as it is, like I said already. So buckle up for that. You're going to be on this for a bit. But that's not all, as they say. If you're a member of Gales Nation Plus, we are doing a live Zoom with Tobin tonight at 7 p.m. So I hope you give that a listen. Again, that's for Gales Nation Plus members only. Who knows what will be talked about in that? Lots going on behind the scenes in Gale Nation these days too. So we'll see what Tobin has to say tonight in terms of previewing things in AC, and also he'll probably talk about some recruiting. So there's that. Also, you guys have, if you haven't done this the past couple of years, you're going to want to. There's a Twitter space hosted by Jaden Daly and Sam Fetterman. He has a panel of other MAAC folks such as myself, Fairfield Frank Aquino, who you guys have known. He's been on my podcast before. And Ethan Hurwitz, who I was going to have on my podcast. He is a Quinnipiac fellow, but we ended up scrapping that for schedule issues. Back in February. But all of us will have a Twitter space. I believe it's going to be Monday night. I don't know at time, so keep an eye out on Twitter for that, or on the Iona message board. I'll drop a hint for it there as well. It's good stuff. I mean, it's going to be more than you'll ever want to know about the MAAC tournament and what we can expect to see down there. But we also all give our picks, and that means I give mine too. A reminder to everyone, last year on that Twitter space, I predicted correctly, as bad as I am at making picks, which we won't talk about in terms of these point spreads. I got one game wrong in the MAAC tournament last year, and it was a play-in game. I had St. Peter's winning the tournament. I had Fairfield in the final against them. Hey, love to me there. Sometimes I get it right. So you don't want to miss it, because who will I pick to win it this year? Anyway, lastly, you guys have also known I've had Jim Mazzano on from College Hoops Chat. I'll be actually recording with Jim this morning, and I'm not quite sure when he's dropping his MAAC tournament preview episode. I believe he has Diane Nolan, who is the female commentator on the Quinnipiac broadcast that you guys all love. We all know how irritating some of those the Quinnipiac broadcast team is, but I don't know, sometimes Diane is the voice of reason in there. So anyway, she'll be on with as well. And on Jim's preview episode on College Hoops Chat. Not quite sure when that's dropping, but again, just something else for you guys to just tune in and hear my inane thoughts and backwards logic and everything else. So lots to listen to. Enjoy it all, and let's see where we end up in a couple days, I guess.
Iona, Ionis.
Welcome back to Iona, Day Reeves. If you were not in attendance or you did not see it online yesterday, Dejour Reeves made a video as part of Senior Day to announce that he was returning to the Gales next season. He, of course, picked up an extra year when the JUCO ruling passed earlier, giving JUCOs an extra year. And so he had another year. I mean, and he could have probably gone somewhere else, but he wants to stay in New Rochelle and is doing so. Let's hope Day-Day's recommitment to Iona triggers much of the same from some of the other key Gales this offseason.
Iona, Ionis.
Welcome to Iona, DeAndrea Lindsay, 6'8", power forward out of Oak Hill Academy, 4 stars on 247 and ESPN, 3 stars on Rivals and On3. He is the 104th ranked recruit nationally. Offers from several majors, had a final 7 of Iona, Virginia Tech, Tennessee, Georgetown, Cal, Penn State, and Georgia Tech. He's one of the top recruits ever landed at Iona. We're all very excited to have him here in New Rochelle. He's every bit the 6'8" or 6'7" that you see him listed at. And he's going to be a beast for us. So looking forward to have DeAndre in New Rochelle next season.
Iona, Ionis.
Welcome to Iona, Ethan Copeland, a 6'2" shooting guard out of Salt Lake Community College, currently averaging 17 points, 4 boards, almost 3 assists a game, a couple steals a game as well. Shoots 42% from 3, also near 80% from the line. He is the 53rd ranked JUCO in the country. He had offers from Oakland, FIU, Stetson, and Kansas City, and now he is a Gale as well. Welcome to Iona, Ethan Copeland. All right. With 4 IOTAs there on the books, it's time to jump into some game recap stuff and getting into the actual MAAC tournament a bit here. But let's talk about yesterday first. I mean, this was obviously a big, important game. Iona was either going to be the 4 seed with the win or the 7 seed with the loss. And I had been talking, you guys remember, the old posts of optimism way back when. And, I told you, if we can get to 12-8, we're going to be in the top 6. Well, guess what? We got to 12-8. We're in the top 6. So, it's been a bumpy ride. There were some bumps in that road, but, when we started that whole thread of optimism on the Iona message board, and then I shared it on Twitter, we have had quite the run since then. We had some hiccups and some bad performances in there too. But, these are college kids. They're going to have they're going to have bad games. It happens. Every school in the country goes through it. So, but anyway, going into yesterday, yeah, there was some pressure there. I mean, you had to win that game because, I've been saying it all along. It's really, really hard to win the MAAC tournament out of the play-in round. As far as I'm trying to remember now, I think it's happened twice in the league's history. Well, since there's been a play-in round in the league's history. Once was Siena at home, which there's always an asterisk on anytime somebody's playing at home in a tournament. And the other was Patino's Gales when in the COVID year when they had the weird seeding based on total wins. I think they did it by rather than winning percentage. And Iona came in as a big team and had to win 4 games under Patino. So that's it. So if you had to win 4 games in a MAAC tournament, you're not likely to do so. So that was important yesterday. And it's really funny because the game was very swingy, going back and forth, spurts and on spurts. Huge Sacred Heart dominated the first few minutes, then Iona dominated the rest of the half, and Sacred Heart was up by 1. Then the second half, Sacred Heart started fast again, and Iona answered again, and then it was just a fight. But not a rock fight like we're used to being, and it was absolute shootout, which was fun to watch. It was a little throwback to the Clues days a bit. If I see one more corner 3 going, I might throw up. But or NBA 3. I mean, Sacred Heart's got some shooters. I mean, they were ridiculous yesterday for the game. For overall from 3 yesterday, they were 16 of 36. 16 of 36. So it's 44%. I think out of those 16, probably 10 of them from the corners, and like 4 of them were from NBA range. This kid Griffin Baruch, boy, he 5 of 7 from deep, and he was getting over half court and putting them up. I think he's been watching too many Steph Curry videos, but he actually made them. Sacred Heart was fun to watch. I'll say that. I mean, but there was some flaws in the defense yesterday for sure. But the offense, again, for the second time with Tim Cluess in the building, put up over 85 points. So maybe we need Tim to just be present and the points flow. Maybe that's his impact on Iona's offensive history. I don't know. I mean, it was a good time for us to be absolutely scorching ourselves. I mean, we didn't have a great first half. We're only 43% overall, 15% from 3 in the first half. But boy, were we on fire second half. For the second half, we shot 61% from the field, 54% from 3. And for the game, we ended up 51% overall, 35% from 3. We were 9 of 26. The foul shooting was woeful in the first half. Even Deja Reeves was missing free throws yesterday in the first half. But then the right guys starting to get into the line in the second half, and we actually outshot them from the line, which seems like that never happens. Yesterday, we made 65%, 17 of 26. They only ended up making 62.5%, 10 of 16. They were bricking down the line. So here's why yesterday was important, and I even tweeted this at one point. It was that stretch run again, and it was going to be tight. And were we going to make the plays to get over the top? We had, I can't say we have drastically improved in that, but we were like for the first, 2 months and change of the season, we were given to not make those plays for the most part and put a game away, or just even get control of a game. Never mind, put it away. And of course, we all know about the trend we had most of the season, where we would have a lead, blow the lead, and then lose the game. And we got better at kind of answering that bell down the stretch of a game and getting the W's, which led to the finish we've had this year. We were in that spot again. It was drama time. Those final 30 seconds ago, it's a tie game. You're playing for seeding. It's basically a tournament game in a lot of ways, if you look at it that way. Wow. Adam Jai made a absolute ridiculous fadeaway. Probably, I don't want to say it had no business going in, but it was not the best shot we could have gotten, but damned if he didn't make it anyway. And then we came down, and Sacred Heart had a chance down to, Sacred Heart was down 2. In Sacred Heart fashion, they kind of came down and just put up a 3, but it wasn't well designed. It wasn't well prepared. It was the right shooter for them, because it was a guy who wasn't going to make a shot like that, and it wasn't close. And so we were able to survive because we got to stop at the end of the game. As bad as we were on defense for a lot of yesterday, we got to stop when we needed to get to stop. And you want to say it's also, thankfully, some of their poor play design and I don't know what they were thinking at that moment with the play they came up with, but it still showed a lot from this team. We were down 16, and it looked like the first meeting, and I was at the first meeting at Sacred Heart, and it was our worst performance of the year. Period. You can talk about the West Virginia game and some of the others, but when we were just not in it from the get-go. We got punked that day, and it was, I left that gym feeling really down about where we were headed. And it started that way again. They were up 29-13, because they were just raining threes on us, and we were a little listless and on offense, and we were on our heels. We answered the bell, and then Sacred Heart kind of started off strong again second half, and we answered the bell again. That's some maturity there. That's something in there that not all teams can do, and it bodes well for Atlantic City that we were able to win a game like that in that moment, and against a team where and in a situation where we needed to stop against a team that's probably the best offensive team in our league right now, maybe second best. So it was great for us to get that W, finishing 4 seed. It is an upgrade from last year. I know we have the same exact regular season record, 15-16, and I know that's not sitting well with some folks. But I have this platform and we're gonna use it. The bottom line is this team finished very strong. Yes, we're in a bad MAAC. Yes, we played a bad schedule. I'm gonna say it again. There are a lot of people who don't really get how hard it is to build a team from scratch. And there's a reason why Marist had such a fast start this year. There's a reason why Merrimack is near the top of the league and Quinnipiac is near the top of the league. It's because they retained players. And you want to hold that on the staff or whatever for not being able to retain guys from last year. I mean, I get it. I understand that. That's part of it too, and it was a problem, and it really kept us off kilter for a while. But we've now settled in. I saw if you go on Bart Torvik's website, he's another one of those data freaks, almost like Ken Palm. If you can actually section out a part of the season and get rankings and ratings just for that. And for the last, I think 6 weeks or whatever it's been since Iona's had started this turnaround, Iona's the second highest rated team in the MAAC in terms of just their overall performance. Only Manhattan is a tick better than us. How convenient that we'll be seeing them in AC. Anyway, more on that in a minute. But anyway, so just thrilled about the fact that we got out of there with the W yesterday. And let's now hear from, we're going to hear from Kome Emuobor, who had a great game yesterday and has really, really risen up. He had 16 points. It was 6-11 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, made a couple free throws, also had 4 boards. Just a really, really strong finish to the year for Kome. So he had 16. Mundi was ridiculous yesterday, 24 points, 14 rebounds. He also had a plus 14 for the game, so he was really dominant. He had 7 offensive boards as well. He also drew 8 fouls, had 3 steals, even had a couple of assists, and blocked a shot. So he had just a monster day. So we'll hear from Yafet as well, and we're going to hear from Day Day, who had 19 points. He had also 7 boards, 4 assists versus only 1 turnover, so had 3 steals. And of course, in the presser, we also talk about him returning next year, and we'll see who gets his thoughts on that. The other quick numbers I want to mention from yesterday's game real quick before we get to the presser. Adam Jai had a great second half. Didn't shoot it all that well for the day, neither did DeJour. But Adam did finish with 15 points. He had 4 free throws down the stretch of the game as well. Had, of course, the big bucket. So he was really great in the last few minutes of the game. He also had 8 assists, although he did have 7 turnovers. Tough day there. And he had 2 steals as well. So a great game from Adam. A couple other guys, again, real quick. Jalen Barr had 6 points in 11 minutes. So, he's understanding his role of just being a defender and cutting to the basket and getting points inside and all of that. So he was really solid as well. And the last guy I want to mention is Justin Menard. Got out of his slump a little bit the last game with a couple threes. Yesterday, didn't shoot it much. He was 2 of 3 from 3. He did make his 2 free throws, but he had so he finished with 8 points, 7 assists, 0 turnovers. So, I mean, he was really, really solid yesterday, and it was great to see him back on track as we get ready for Atlantic City. All right, let's hear from everybody. Again, this is a long presser. Tobin kept taking a lot of different questions from the field. He went a lot of different directions in his portion. But you're going to hear some things. I asked Day about, I didn't ask him. My pal Dave Resnick asked him about why he decided to stay at Iona. But I asked Kome and Yafet what they thought about that commitment from Day. So we'll hear that. That's something you might want to listen to when that comes up. And then, of course, Tobin, Tobin talked about Day, talked about the great game yesterday, how the team finished. And then we got into some other tangents about NIL and all that other fun stuff. So it was a long presser. And like I said, this is going to be a long episode, people. Buckle up. Because we got MAAC preview stuff after this presser. Enjoy. All right. Some thoughts as you guys clinch a 4 seed going into Atlantic City.
I feel like today it was that mandatory. We played it like a championship game because we know if you would have lost, we would have had to play 4 games with AC. So our mindset was different coming into the game. The way we practiced, the way we locked in on film, the way we recovered our body, it was just totally different from the past. So I feel like this game was like, all right, this is a step forward.
And what else do you guys take away from something like this going into next week?
Yeah, I'd say, it's just super exciting that we were able to do this because, like what Dave was saying, our approach, our focus just from all perspectives was different in the right ways. We knew how important this game was, and, now we have to get ready for next week, and we know the position that we're in now. So now it's all about making the most out of it.
You've had just a tremendous game, rebounding, 14 rebounds, 24 points. How did you feel? You had a lot of confidence in the game, taking the ball to the basket.
My teammate gave me a lot of confidence. Like, they trust me. They feed me in the post, so I just give them back. All the staff do a incredible work with me, so I'm just happy to be here, play for them, play for the team. And if we keep playing like that, we can do everything.
I feel like early in the season, a game like this may not have gone the right way. But tonight, you really dug in the final few minutes. You got every big stop you needed to get. How do you guys feel about that, and why did it happen?
Well, I feel like beginning of the year when we was like losing, we started like kind of to quit. Like once we got down big, we felt like we couldn't dig ourselves out that hole. As time went on, I feel like we came together more. We starting to talk more in the huddle beside the coaches, and I feel like that helped us a lot coming to now. So, yeah.
Okay, had a nice rally at the end of the first half, but then had Sacred Heart trying to stage a rally of their own in the second. How'd you respond to that?
I think, we had to take this game very serious. After what Sacred Heart did to us back in November, we knew we had a vendetta against them coming into this game. So, and we knew we were fighting for the exact same reason. So it was super personal for us. So we had to really dig deep, and we showed that tonight.
You watched that film this week, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What was that like?
Man, it just gets you, want to get you back out there and ready to go, because we all knew what it felt like running up and down there and how we got embarrassed like that. And we knew we wanted to come back with some real tenacity this game.
Okay.
Day, why are you coming back?
One, my teammates. Like, I felt like this is like the most fun I had in a while. Like, since I've been at JUCO, like this is the most fun I've been. And then like all the coaching staff, from Coach TA to the GAs, I feel like they all gave me confidence. It's like, why would I want to leave if everybody believes in me? And then the fans, everybody shows love. Even when we was losing, they never switched up on us. They kept believing. So I feel like this is the best opportunity for me for my last year in college.
When did you make the decision?
I made my decision a while ago, but I just wanted to keep it tucked, for senior night. And then I told Coach Rich like a minute ago, but I told him keep it a secret. Have Coach Tobin stressing a little bit. So I just wanted to do that for a little bit, but yeah, I had my decision like a while ago. Since he told me that like I could get my extra year back, I knew this was the place for me.
What was it like to make that video and have the announcement go down that way?
It meant a lot. I felt like the crowd, the people, they wanted to see something like that happen, especially knowing that I got a year back. I feel like they probably didn't want me to leave, and I wasn't gonna do that to my people. So,
In this era where players are going to the portal more than staying on their teams, what do you guys think about what he decided?
I think that's awesome. I think being a teammate of Day, he's been nothing but a great brother on and off the court. And yeah, I think that's great. He's here and he has a great situation here. So I love that for him that he's deciding to stay here.
Kome, how do you describe your ascension over the last 5 games, double digits in 4 or 5, first time since Princeton? How do you describe your play down the stretch here?
I think it's really just instilling the confidence that my coaches and my teammates have really instilled into me. They really trust me to go out there and make plays, and they know me and they know my game. So I really give it all credit to them, and just staying resilient and just staying with it.
Vet, how do you rebound with 3 players on your back?
I'm just playing hard, doing my job.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
I love it, so I'm just doing it every night.
What's it going to take to get you guys at the NCAA tournament?
What we showed tonight will take us there.
Yeah. I think if we're playing like that and we still together, the sky's the limit.
What's the play like that? What's that?
Play our defense, run the floor, pay attention to detail, talk, everything. If we share the ball, play for each other, I say we'll go really far this year.
And keep our faith in God.
100%.
If you feel comfortable sharing, what is it like playing during Ramadan?
Actually, this is my first year playing during Ramadan, but I got 3 other teammates that's been through it their whole life. I just converted 3 years ago, so having teammates like that, just to keep telling me to keep going, like I got this, it gave me more confidence to go out there and like I can do this.
At 5:57, what did that cup of water taste like?
Man, it was amazing. Man, I've been waiting the whole day. Like, keep asking the coaches, like, yo, what time is it? What time is it? And they're like, yo, chill, just focus on the game. Man. Once that time hit, it was amazing.
Just tell us a little bit about Adam's game, making free throws and really controlling the ball at the point, controlling the last couple of minutes, and then hitting that shot to give you the 2-point win.
We put a lot of trust in Adam. He's our #1 PG on the court, so he got the ball in his hands majority of the game. So we want him to go out there and have the most confidence as he ever needed. Like, so we just keep like putting confidence into him.
How did the wins up at Canisius and Niagara help your confidence, winning 2 on the road, coming back for tonight for closing kind of your regular season?
Our GAs, like Parker, he said they've been up there. He played up there, and it was a hard trip. So like we practiced like super hard that whole entire week just for that trip. Like we know we needed them 2 games that put us in a good position to where we at right now.
Very good. Good job, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. They did stagger them today. I thought that was kind of cool.
I'll tell you what, I got an idea. Based on. Hold on a second.
All right. Great game, great win for us. I mean, that was a great game. I mean, not necessarily fun to coach, but I thought both teams played really well. I was afraid watching them play Manhattan on Thursday because they didn't make any shots against Manhattan, and then they made a lot of shots today. I mean, they made threes and tough threes and hard threes, and we got behind by 16 points. Great credit to our guys. Like we've had games where we've got behind and our guys didn't blink. We kept coming, got it to 1 point. I think at the end of the first half they scored it to go by 1 at halftime. Then we kind of started the second half the same way we started the first half. We just with not a lot of energy, but found a way to get back in the game, make some big shots. I mean, for us to win a game 90-88, that's not how it's been going most of the year. If a team got to 88, I would have thought we'd have lost. But I thought guys stepped up, and obviously, Adam made another big shot. Man, wasn't a perfect play, and he was falling down or whatever. But the kid, give the kid a lot of credit. I mean, he's made a lot of big shots for us this year. And then I thought Yafet Mundi was unbelievable. I mean, as far as his energy and how hard he played, and I mean, he rebounded and ran and finished, and he was a physical force today, which is what we knew he could do. And all the guys in Menard, I see Menard play well. Menard came off the bench and for a freshman got himself going again a little bit, and Comey played well. So yeah, listen, I thought it was a great team effort. I thought we had to find a way to win that game somehow, some way. Just what you got to do. And I mean, I think Sacred Heart's really good. I think they're, like I told you before the game, one of the most talented teams in the MAAC. So for us to win that game in that fashion, and I knew they would shoot the ball better. Good shooting teams don't not shoot it well. If they don't make them one night, they're going to make them the next night. So we are proud of the guys, proud of them for why they. I mean, I'm not big on obviously then, and now it's getting ready for the tournament. But listen, I think we're 11-4 in our last 15 games. There's a time during the season where the whole world was falling apart, and we could have easily given up and packed it in, and guys could have chosen to go another way, and they hung in there and got tougher and really competed. It's been a fun team to be around the last 6 weeks, and I'm proud of them for winning a big game at home. Great crowd, like a just awesome crowd. It's like one of the reasons why you come to Iowa. And obviously, great day for DeJour to announce he's staying. That's a huge part of in retention of mid-major basketball. Like he's just a great kid, and great crowd, great atmosphere, unbelievable fans, unbelievable support. So it's a special place, and we'd like to go to AC and make a run.
I think this is the most happy I've seen you after a game in 2 years. Is that fair?
I don't know. I mean, maybe so. I am happy. I'm happy. Big picture, I'm happy. Happy about the fact that like what we've done the last 6 weeks, and then happy about today, and then happy about DeJour coming back. You know, I mean, there's like so much of when your whole life is you build a program, right? You build around certain guys, and it's been hard with new guys the last 2 years, and so I think that will steamroll a lot of other guys too. I think that's a great message to send. Hey, our best player wants to be here, you know, and so. But no, I'm proud of the guys, and listen, the seniors like Jalen Barr and he played well, and Clarence, like the end of the game. I don't think Clarence played the last 15 minutes, but he was so on the bench. He was so good as far as being a great teammate, talking to the guys, was totally into the game. Just a high character guy, and it's part of the reason we've had success here down the road the last 6 weeks.
Well, yeah, you just said that about 6 weeks. The biggest turnaround has probably been the way you guys have been closing out games. How important was it to close out today's game going into AC next week?
Very important, but it wasn't. I mean, it would have been nice to close out the game before we got to the actual shot. Yeah, so I mean, it was like, yeah, it looks good in hindsight. It's like they always say, like, well, it looked like a 30-point win in the offseason. But like, wow, that was easy. It was not easy. You know, I mean, the kid hit the shot, the three to tie it up, and it's like, you know, and we didn't get a great look the last. But we had a couple of possessions where we could have got it to 7, and we didn't. You know, DeJour missed a couple three shots. He was like right there. You know, the ball was in the right guy's hands, and then you know, we always have a debate about whether it should go through Adam or through Day at the end of the games, and we kind of went throrough both of them. It was like trial by error, and they both. I think Adam delivered, and you know, but man, listen, Yefet was unbelievable. I mean, to keep us in the game, Yefet made some big plays. Menard hit some big threes when they could have started to stretch us out a little bit too. So, our guys are really hung in there, stuck in together, and like we're not pretty. It's not like a team that's going to be always going to score 90 points. But if you find a way to win, that's this time of year is what's important.
Tobin, I think I noticed this, so let me ask it. It seems now in the last month or so you're calling more set plays than you did early in the season. Is that true?
Probably so, yeah. Yeah, probably so. Make sure the ball gets into Adam and Day-Day's hands. But we didn't score we scored a lot in transition. I thought was good. We scored some stuff in that way. And then again, we're trying to have a little more control. Right. You know, when you're not a great offensive team, you have to kind of play through your best players. And sometimes they need to be, you know, hey, this guy is going to get the ball. DeJour is going to get the ball. He's going to make a play. Adam's going to get the ball, make a play, right? So yeah, I think more sets. That's very astute of you, Jim. That's definitely what we're trying to do. There's a little more control, a little more. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. You know, I think down the stretch we ran a couple sets and we didn't score, and then we ran a couple and we did score. So you know, we always go back. We dissect that. We have a plan going in, a plan going forward, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I thought, I don't know how many offensive rebounds we had today. I mean, we missed some shots, some great. We had 17 offensive rebounds, right? That's huge for us because if you miss, we missed 31 shots, so we got 17 of the shots we missed. We got rebound. That's more than half your misses. I'm not a math major, but I think that's more than half your misses. So we were able to Yefet, and a lot of times he got fouled too. They're holding him down. Like he was like when he plays like that, like he's a big, strong dude, and he's gotten so much better. And you know, we yell at him a lot. Like he's coached a lot, and by a lot of people. And he's to his credit, he's kind of hung in there and gotten better.
Coach, you're down 9 a few minutes into the second half, and Justin gets a 3, and then Yefet gets back-to-back jams to get you back in the game. How important was it to get the ball inside to you at that point? Huge,
and I thought Adam did a good job of finding him on some plays where he was around the basket, just threw it up to him, and he went and got the ball. Yeah, it was huge. We didn't start the second half very well. I could see it coming. You know, sometimes when you catch up, you're down by 16, you catch up, you get it to 1, and then it's like, okay, now we're fine. When we came out of the second half, like this, we're down by 9, and it was like pretty drastic. And so I think we answered that run and got it back to where it was a good game. And you know, the crowd helped us, the fans helped us. It was awesome.
You sure Reeves got that 3 to tie the game at 70 all?
Yep. Big 3, big shots, missed a couple free throws. You know, he's fasted for Ramadan. We got a few guys that are doing that. So I mean, it's like
they were telling us.
I'm like, dude, just take a drink. I said, I have to be. You all right? Are you tired? He said, well, I'm really thirsty. I'm like, I think God will let you take a drink of water, you know? I said, I don't get into religious stuff at all, but I'm Methodist, and I can eat and drink when I want to. Maybe we should all be Methodists or something. I don't know. But I mean, he missed some free. He never missed his free. He missed 2 free throws the first half, missed a free throw the second half. Like, he didn't miss free throws usually.
Right.
So, but to his credit, he hit some big threes and hit some big shots.
I've heard coaches say that one of the hardest things to do in college basketball is when you win the first game, the second time you meet them, it's hard to win twice.
Yes.
That kind of worked in your favor today. I think like your guys, they mentioned to us when we talked to them when they were in here that they were really motivated to make up for the getting embarrassed the first time. Is that something that I imagine you were involved with?
I mean, a little bit, but we also were down by 16 points. You should tell them next time you talk to them that, like, if you're that motivated, it would be nice to be up by 16 points. If we're down, so it's motivated. Sometimes, like, all that stuff is great. When the ball gets tipped up, it really doesn't mean a whole.
How much did you show them the film, though?
We showed them the score. We showed the score. We showed the score at the halftime. We showed the score during the game. We kind of, but like I said, a lot of that stuff is if you got tough dudes who play hard, they know what happened there. We all know what happened there, but I think credit to Sacred Heart. I mean, they're a dangerous offensive team. The kid Griffin Baruch was hitting threes from the parking lot. I mean, there's a couple of times I'm like, yeah, we defended him pretty well, and he still hit shots. Like it wasn't like we didn't defend him well. I mean, he hit some big threes, and they hit some big shots, and so credit to them. I think, like I told you, I think that's a dangerous team in AC. There's a lot of dangerous teams in AC.
What's it going to take to get Iona to the NCAA tournament?
Well, I got to win 3 games in AC.
How are you going to do that?
Went on Thursday. Then went on Friday, then went on Saturday. I don't know. We'll go back to work tomorrow. We're playing Manhattan. And like we just said, we beat them last game here, so probably they got a little advantage on us is the fact that they're playing well. And they're a good offensive team. So, we told them before the game, it's good to play this team today before AC because this game matters. This game means something. It hopefully gets our self going. But it's a little bit like the baseball saying, like momentum's only as good as your next day's starting pitcher. Like, really doesn't matter what happens on Thursday. What happens the next 2 days in preparation, next 3 days in preparation, and then Thursday will be we got to show up and play. Because that doesn't mean anything on Thursday, right? I mean, I'm sure, overall, the guys feel good about what happened. They feel like there's been a lot of improvement. But we got to go play well on Thursday.
What do you do over the next 4 days?
Take tomorrow off, and then we'll go hard Monday, Tuesday. Then we'll head down to AC on Wednesday and kind of make sure we got all our stuff in preparation wise, and then play. Is it the late game Thursday night?
Yeah, 8:30.
That's good. That's good for Ramadan too. The guys can eat when the sun goes down, I guess. So that'll be good.
Sacred Heart was your first and last MAAC game. Are you able to reflect on the growth over the last 3 months?
I told them, I said, I'm not sure any team in the country has gotten better over that course of time that we have. I really believe that. I mean, we went down there and just got drilled, and it wasn't even. I mean, it was bad. It wasn't even close. We had no. We didn't play together. We didn't play any energy, all that kind of stuff. It was awful. It was awful. It was one of the most embarrassing nights. I mean, I think I texted every person I knew who'd ever been to Iona and apologized because I'm like, that's not how we should play. So I'm proud of the fact that we have gotten better. I remember there's a time about 6 weeks ago when we were not doing well, and Christian Winborn, who's been injured, obviously, said to the fellas, like, hey, listen, this is not over yet, man. Like, this is not over. Like, just keep grinding, get better, and proud of what we've done the last 6 weeks.
Is he playing again?
We're hoping. Hopefully he's trying to get healthy, so we'll see. Be nice.
Tobin, I know there's one moment, less than 40 seconds to go. Sacred Heart successfully tied the game near the end. How do you deal with that?
We're trying to run a ball screen play to get it. We're trying to get Adam off a ball screen and then get Day to the top. We're going to try to throw the ball back to Adam or back to Day and get him in space where he can make a play. And they kind of took that away. They did a good job. So last game, it's like we ran that same play against them last time and it worked against them, right? So we knew in our preparation that's what we'd run late game. We call it snowplow because the two guys stand like they're in a snowplow. So we're trying to get Adam off that thing, pop Day out, get Day some space, and he'll make a play. They did a good job, which most teams do. They prepared for it, they guarded it. So Adam had to go make a shot. And listen, in most games you watch, it's a guy making a big play, making a big shot. There's the X and O part. It's great to have a great set, but like a guy can go make a play, and that's a huge thing.
Coach, with DeJure making his announcement he's going to come back as a graduate student, it's great to hear he's going to be able to graduate this year. Does that help you as far as keeping this group together for next year?
Absolutely, I think so. I absolutely think so. Listen, the biggest problem is retention and for mid majors, right? It's just like he got approached by a lot. I mean, what's going on out there is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's just, I mean, he's all these guys are getting hit up. Not all of the guys who are having good years are getting hit up behind the scenes. Constant, here's the money, here's this, here's that. I mean, you have no idea what. I mean, it's ridiculous what's going on, right? So we have to deal with that. And he has to deal with that. So here's a kid who basically said, you know what? I'm happy at Iona. I love Iona. I've had a great year. He's a leader of our team without saying a whole lot. And like, I think that will get the ball rolling. Like, this is the great place to be, you know. So I think it should really help us. And listen, I'm just happy he's come back. I love the kid. I love him. He's giving me a huge hug down there. I'm like, I love the kid. He's a special person, special player, of great family. And I think, you know, listen, this is a great place. Like, to me, I wouldn't leave here unless, you know, I got a kid in Kentucky now, right? If an SEC team said, hey, I want you to go to the SEC, okay, I got you. You know, Power Fives, they want to offer you huge money. We're not talking. It's like, why go someplace else, mid-major or something like that? Especially you got. Yeah, I was talking to a recruit. You have one chance at your career. That's it. You don't get to do this over again, right? So if you go someplace else for all the wrong reasons, which guys are doing, they're going for money, for promises, to make an agent more money. I mean, these agents they're not agents. They're preying on these kids, right? And they're getting 20% of the money that the kid signs for. So they don't have your best interest at heart. You know, yeah. So to credit to Data and his family, his mom's a wonderful person. The whole family's great people. And they knew what the most important thing is. It's about the fit. It's about, you know, and he's gonna go on and have a great year next year and go pro. And you know, and I said to him, I mean, I think because in this environment, him coming back, he becomes a legend. Like he could have left and he didn't leave, right? And so obviously there's more guys, and I won't get into the specifics about, but there's a lot of guys we want back, you know. And hopefully they'll come back. And I cannot tell you, and I don't know, tell you anything, coaching a team, we've gone through a lot this year, a lot of close games, a lot of, to have that experience for next year is invaluable. You can talk what you want to. It's like, this is hard, you know, with 13 new guys. So, you know, you like to take this team and go play the whole schedule again this year, right? Take this team, like what happened the first 15 games, go play the exact same schedule, but you don't get to do that, but we can do it next year, you know? So this will help us, I think, going forward. And recruiting's going well, and you know, I'm proud of the staff has hung in there. I mean, listen, it's not been easy, but it's part of the deal. You know, you don't sign up for this to be easy, obviously, you know?
Coach, if it's Saturday night, you guys are cutting down on nets in Atlantic City. Why? Why would that have happened?
It would be our defense, our rebounding, right? And winning some close games. Because I think we're not going to go down there, and no one's going to go down there and blow anybody out, right? So you got to have the mentality. I think that first game is such a big game because it's like that gives you. I mean, the tournament really starts on Friday, in my opinion. Like I've been a lot of these, but not to puff my chest out or not, but like a lot of these things, like, you know, in Division II, you know, even when I was at FDU, like you win that first game, that gets you going for the tournament really starts on Friday, but you got to get to Friday, and we're going to play a really good Manhattan team who I think is tremendous. So, but if you can get that win, that gets you going for the next round. So we got to go down there with unbelievable effort and toughness and concentration. And, you know, you go down to a new arena, new place. I mean, listen, we're not idiots. We beat them last year in the tournament. So like you talk about the motivational stuff, that there's no doubt about that. Those guys, like they have more returners. Everybody has more returns than we do. But they have Jaden Winston, they have Bender, they have Robinson, guys who were there last year. They'll be jacked up for us on Thursday. But once again, like, it's what you do in those 40 minutes that's going to be the difference. But yeah.
Do the guys know the history of this tournament, that it's always chaos, that it's never the one seed that wins and all of that?
I think they know that just across college basketball, right? But
yeah.
We'll definitely hit that. We'll hit that again with them. We'll definitely talk about that kind of stuff. We'll definitely hit that. But like you got to be laser focused on the first game, because you can't think about, you know, what's ahead of you, you know, because you do that and then it's like you lose you got to put all you can, which Manhattan will do for us. And John Gallagher's a really good coach. They've had a great year, and they'll come in ready to play on Thursday. So we have to get ourselves prepared. And but I'm proud. Like you take it in and of itself right now. What we've done, like enjoy this till midnight. I might go have a beer or two, and have some wings and some ice cream after that's over, and then we'll get ready for Manhattan after that. But like I just think what they've done the last 6 weeks, you know, 11-4. Like, in a couple of those, it'll drive you crazy. A couple of those we could have had too, but like that's part of it. So like, I think it's just a credit to their character and hanging in there. And you know, I appreciate all the support. I just saw Kevin Hamilton. I remember, you know, Kevin Hamilton, Linda Bruno, people who are alumni here. We were struggling. Like, I mean, they were calling me up and texting me up and like, you know, come to my office and talking to me and just like, hey, hang in there. It's you know, that means a lot, right? Because we as a coach, you're like we've had a lot of success, but there's still like. It's you have doubts. You're like, well, is this going well? It's where we're struggling. Like, what are you going to do? How do we, this new environment too, where it's like, man, how do we're constantly, how do we figure this thing out, So I think to our guys' credit, and it's like we started off and everybody probably gave up on them and this guy's not very good and this guy's not very good and this guy can't do this. But you know what? Like Yafet Mundi, right? Yafet Mundi today was a first-team all-conference player. Was he? I mean, right? He wasn't before that, so he's gotten better, Menard, we thought Menard would be our 10th, 11th man. Like, Menard's been a huge part of our success, right? We knew dating Adam would be good. So, Comey wasn't even playing a month ago, and he hung in there and fought, and, like, he was huge today. I mean, what did Comey do? And I love Comey. Comey has 16 points, I'm not sure he had 16 points total a month ago. So I mean, he's hung in there. He defends. He cares. So it's been a fun team to coach, and I'm proud of him.
Coach.
Well, Lizzie got one back there. What do you got? She made us all these bracelets too. So I want to know what the bracelets on. So she gets to answer the question. What do you got?
A lot of times we ask players how they've learned and grown throughout the season. How have you learned? What have you learned, and how have you grown this season?
Like a lot. That's a great question, right? So it's like I think I've been more calm. Me and Dave talked about this yesterday. It's just like trying to. I think this team, like Yafet's an emotional kid, right? Rupert's an emotional person. Adam's an emotional guy. Like me, being over the top emotional, not good for this team. So I've had to tone it down a little bit, try to be more like, hey, reassuring, more positive. I mean, I've been overly negative the last year. I've been frustrated, right? So I kind of but I got to put that aside and just do what I can to help our guys. And I think I've done better with the staff's help, my wife's help. She's a very good resource for me. She talks to me about things, and so I think that's helped a lot. And just like, you got to grind away, man. It's like you get down all you want to. You got to come back into work. We lost some tough games along the way. We just go back the next day and try to get a little bit better. And you get like more. You need to spend more time with the guys. Like that's important. Individual conversations are so important, and spending time with them. And me and Rupert went to lunch last week, and that means a lot. Like just like, hey, listen, we have your back. We love you. It's been an up and down year for all of us, but like we still believe in you. And listen, March is great for college basketball because whatever's happened, you got 4 or 5 days here to go become legends. It's true.
Strategically, you've changed a lot, right? Don't press as much. That was like
yep,
when you came in, you were going to press all the time. You had to modify that.
Yep, we had to change it up. We changed it up a ton. We tried to press one possession day where they kept scoring. I'm like, and I want to press, right? And I'm sure my fans in the world think we shouldn't press all the time, but like it's been pretty successful most of the time. It's like we try to press one time, they got a dunk. I'm like, oh, all right, that's on me. That's my basket. So we're trying. We don't play a lot of zone either. We almost went zone. We're kind of like, if we go zone, we're trying to find a way to get a stop, and like, so we've got more half court defense. It's been better for us. I think it also saves our better scores too. Like DeJour's able to play more minutes when we're not pressing. So. But boy, he rebounds, man. I tell you what, he comes crack. I mean, I don't know how, he's not very tall. In a way, a whole lot. He comes flying in there on the offensive board. So, yeah.
Coach, just going to follow up as you were talking about all the voices that your players hear, from outside Iona. Is there you see anything happening in college basketball as far as setting ground rules for how players are staying at schools or what their opportunities are?
It doesn't look like it because of all the lawsuits and stuff. Now, the revenue sharing stuff will change it for the big schools because they'll now be able to share their revenue and make it a little more balanced at that level. So hopefully that trickles down to us. But at the end of the day, people are going to say, a guy comes here and plays well, they're going to try to poach him. We become I don't mind the NIL stuff. I think kids should get paid. The transfer portal, the nonstop free agency, and then the lack of transparency. I hear it all the time. I talk to coaches all the time, right? It's like, in that locker room, do you think guys tell the truth about what they're making? No one does, right? It's like, hey, I'm making $500,000. Oh, you're no. I mean, I've heard it all the time. Like guys just make up. So it's like there's no transparency. It's like, and then an agent will say, hey, I can get you such and such money someplace else. No, you can't. That's not true. Like there's no show me a contract for that. Like there should be transparency. There should be collective bargaining. There should be you can do 2-year contracts, things like that. What's going to happen at graduation when a guy goes to school for 4 years? I went to Wesleyan, right? Wesleyan number 1 in the country, Division III. They're playing the NCAAs here tonight. I'm going to watch them play, right? I go back for alumni weekend here in a few weeks. That's my school. That's my place, right? Guys go for 4 places in 4 years or 3 schools in 4 years. What's their school? So I'm proud of DeJour because I think he will come back after he's done after next year. I mean, he's going to score 1,000 points in 2 years, right? He's going to probably be all conference this year, all conference next year, and he'll be a guy listen. people are going to love DeJour because he did in this climate. He did something that people aren't doing. But yeah, it's going to be hard, Ken. It's hard. What's all these lawsuits and things, and it just got way out of hand, and it's hard to kind of adjust to it. I'm glad I'm not 30. If I was 30, I have too many more years of this stuff. But I love coaching. I love what we're doing. I love the progress we're making, and we got to figure a way to exist in this climate. So, but Day coming back, man, that's a good for. And recruiting is going well, and it's a special place. Like Iona's a special place, and listen, we haven't had the year we wanted to have, but I'd like what we've had now. Let's go have a great week in AC and see what happens.
Not holding into this, just in general. Do you feel like you kind of know already other guys are going to come back too, or you just don't know?
I think I have a pretty good feel, yeah. I think it helps the last 6 weeks, man. It's like you play in that atmosphere today. It's like, and you guys are, guys who were playing, like that's fun. You look around, that's a fun atmosphere. I've been at Division III, Division II, where you're playing a great game and in front of 40 people. Yeah. So it's a special place. There's a lot of tradition here. So I think a lot of it is like if the guys get along, like everybody likes Day, so it's like and everybody likes all our guys. They're all good. They're all good guys. So I think there'll be a little bit of the whole group coming. But listen, everybody's got their own situations too. Some guys want to play more. Some guys want to have bigger roles. Some guys want to all that stuff, And Yafet wants to go to the Knicks. Yafet thinks he'll be starting for the Knicks next year, so I've got to calm him down. He's going to go hardship and go play in the pros next year. So today, maybe he could have.
All right, we're back, and now it's time to sink our teeth into the MAAC tournament. We're going to start on the women's side, and that it's been interesting on the women's side. I know we haven't had too many episodes lately, but we haven't talked about the women very much lately. Anyway, because I'm not sure what happened these past few weeks, but boy, they had a nice start to the year in league play. They were in the top half of the league. But boy, things really kind of fell apart, and they ended up only the 10 seed, which is very disappointing. They were never in danger of falling out of the top 10 because there's a pretty good gap to the next set of teams that didn't make it. But man, they just have not. They are going in with the worst possible vibe you could go in this with. And again, they fell all the way to the 10 seed. They'll be taking on 7 seed St. Peter's at 2:30 on Tuesday. So if you're going to be down there as a Gale fan. You're going to want to at least go support the women there as well. 2:30 on Tuesday against St. Peter's in the 7-10 game. The first game of the entire tournament is the noon game on Tuesday. Number 8 Manhattan versus number 9 Canisius. Then Wednesday's action for the women. At noon on Wednesday, number 1 Fairfield, which actually lost a game to Quinnipiac yesterday. Will be playing the Manhattan Canisius winner. The second game on Wednesday for the women is at 2:30. The aforementioned Quinnipiac Bobcats finished second. They will play the St. Peter's Iona winner. So bookmark that in case the Lady Gales find their way on Tuesday and get by St. Peter's. And then we get to Thursday's quarterfinals. First game is 12 p.m. Number 4 Mount St. Mary's, number 5 Marist. Game 6 of the tournament for the women is Thursday at 2:30. Number 3 Siena versus number 6 Merrimack. The semifinals are on Friday at 12 and 2:30, and the championship is at 1:30 on Saturday. It is on ESPNU and on ESPN Plus, of course. So there's the field. Fairfield and Quinny are the two best teams, and probably with a good gap in there. By the way, they're pretty comfortably ahead there. It would be a shocker if that is not the final. Let's put it that way. And it'll be a fun final. So you're definitely if you're following women's basketball at all, when it comes around time to Saturday afternoon, you may want to watch that. I'd be surprised if it's not Fairfield Quinnipiac. But where does this mean for our Lady Gales? Again, it's been a rough stretch. It's been like about 3 weeks, and the performances have just not been there, and we will find out why. I have not talked to Angela Millo in quite a bit, but I will be, of course, at their press conferences throughout for as long as they're in the tournament, and we'll definitely hear from her as well. and then at some point. But yeah, at this point, you just want to feel good about things, and you just need to find something positive to build on after what's happened to this team the last few weeks. And you're playing a 7 seed. It's a 7-10 game, so go out and try to win that. And then you go out and you just give your best against the Quinnipiac. I mean, Quinnipiac's not an unbeatable force of any kind, but obviously the odds would be against them in a situation like that. But hey, just get there, get to that point, so at least you have a shot, and you're not one and done. So that's kind of the deal. It would be a surprise if Fairfield women did not win the tournament, even though Quinnipiac and Fairfield did split their games. But it is going to be a fun final. Quinnipiac, of course, these are two best programs without a doubt, and it'll be a fun final, like I said. So keep an eye out for that, and let's hope the Lady Gales at least get by St. Peter's and get a shot at Quinnipiac and make some noise, put a scare into them. So, all right. So that's my women's tournament preview. Not overly exciting, but there you have it. And now let's get to the men. Let's talk bracket at first. As I mentioned, we'll start with Iona, of course. Iona getting the win, got the 4 seed. So they basically won a tiebreaker to do that. They have the tiebreaker over Manhattan and Mount St. Mary's, and we'll explain that in a minute. But let's go through the whole bracket first. First game of the tournament on the men's side, 6 p.m. Tuesday night. Number 8, Ryder. Number 9, Siena. It's kind of a fun one. It's going to be a fun game. All these games are going to be fun. This could be a great tournament. It really is. I mean, it's not going to. I mean, we know it. The MAAC's not a great group of teams. We know this, but what it does lead to is it's going to be a lot of fun down there. There's, will chaos reign supreme like always? I wouldn't be shocked. But that's a fun 8-9 game to start things off. And even the one that follows it's got a little juice right now because of a team that is fun to watch. Number 7, Sacred Heart. They finished 10-10 in the MAAC, and they'll be in the 7 seed. They'll be playing number 10 Fairfield, which got a little bit of a break yesterday. Because they played at home against Quinnipiac, and Quinnipiac sat their best players. Rest much like we see in every other professional sport. Somebody has clinched a spot. Quinnipiac had clinched the 1 seed, so Quinnipiac rested their guys, and so Fairfield was able to get the win. A lot of people are saying boo hoo, boo hoo. One thing that was pointed out that I noticed, Fairfield had a pretty easy. Because people feel bad for St. Peter's, who has played pretty well down the stretch. Definitely has played better than Fairfield down the stretch, but basically lost a tiebreaker to Fairfield because of Fairfield's win over Quinny. So there, some people are upset about that. St. Peter's also played an easier MAAC schedule than Fairfield. Fairfield only played Canisius once and Niagara once, and those are 2 big teams. That's a kind of a lighter. St. Peter's played Canisius and Niagara once apiece. So that's kind of a lighter schedule. So Fairfield just kind of evened it out is the way I look at it. And so anyway, so that is your other play-in game is number 7 Sacred Heart, number 10 Fairfield. Fairfield's got to be feeling a little better about themselves right now, and they've played a little better lately. I think they were missing a couple people here and there, and now they're a little more full strength, and they're a little better. They're not great. They're a little better. We saw some fun out of Sacred Heart, certainly yesterday, and they're a fun team to watch on offense. That game should have some good fireworks too. It is kind of a rivalry game, because Sacred Heart was always Fairfield's little brother for years and years. But then Sacred Heart swept Fairfield this year. Now, you guys have heard me, if you've followed me for years, you've heard me talk about my sweep theory, and it's not rocket science. It's just my theory is between 2 relatively equal teams, it's hard to beat somebody 3 times. And we're going to get to more of that in a little bit later in this episode. So Sacred Heart swept Fairfield. Does that mean Fairfield's definitely going to win? Of course not. Sacred Heart's probably still a little better team than Fairfield, but it is hard to beat somebody 3 times. Fairfield's feeling a little good about themselves right now. Sacred Heart might be a little tender in the rectal area based on how things didn't go quite their way down the stretch yesterday. So That's a fun one in some ways because it's a budding rivalry, with Sacred Heart now in the league for sure, and that would add some fun to it if Fairfield got that win. That's for sure. Now, out of those 4 teams, I think everybody would agree Sacred Heart is the most likely to be able to win a quarterfinal game. Riders played pretty well too, and they would be a fun looking at the rest of the bracket. So again, Rider, Siena, they're the 8-9 game on Tuesday at 6. The winner gets Quinnipiac Wednesday at 6. I think Rider might be a little more equipped to beat Quinnipiac. Siena's been up and down. They haven't finished the season that great. They were a little stronger. They've been good at home and not so good away. I feel like Rider might be a better opponent for Quinnipiac there. Well, would Rider win that game? Well, Baggett did beat Patino, so is there would not? I mean, it is the MAAC. It wouldn't shock me if, but I think Rider is more equipped to do that than Siena is. So we'll see how that goes. And the other side, Sacred Heart Fairfield. That's 8:30 on Tuesday. The winner then plays number 2 Merrimack 8:30 on Wednesday. Sacred Heart Merrimack is fascinating because Sacred Heart is all offense and Merrimack's all defense. So that would be a fun quarterfinal as well. I don't think Fairfield would be much of a threat in a situation like that. But who knows? So there's that. And then we have the other 2 quarterfinal games, which are both Thursday. We get underway with, fun one, Iona Manhattan, 6 o'clock Thursday night. It's on ESPN Plus. It's interesting because some people would say these are the 2 hottest teams in the league, and here they are now having to play in the first round in the quarterfinals. This is a good one. I mean, it's so hard to say. Well, flip a coin. Just flip a coin. Manhattan's going to have some taste in their mouths from last year being eliminated by Iona. Of course, Iona won the most recent meeting between the teams. Manhattan did drill us the first meeting. There's going to be a lot of juice in this game. I expect it to be close. But Manhattan's been playing pretty darn solid lately. Look at the scores of their games. I mean, they're not just beating teams; they're starting to pull away from teams. So I feel like this is a game that will follow a pattern for both teams. If this is, if you're feeling like Manhattan's got an edge in this one, they'll probably pull away a little bit on us. And I don't know if we'll have to see if we can get off the mat like we did yesterday. But if this one is a dogfight in the final minute, I like our chances. I think we've learned a lot about how to make plays down the stretch, and Day and Jai have made shots for us when we needed them. So I like the chances of we winning a tight game in that scenario. So we'll get more to that side of the bracket in a minute. Other side of the bracket is the second game on Thursday is 8:30 p.m. Number 3 Marist against number 6 Mount St. Mary's. Marist is reeling. I mean, they're just not themselves. Now, they were without Price for a while, and I think that kind of threw them off. But he did play yesterday, and they still lost. So not sure what we're looking at there with those guys in that game. But, let's say this. Mount is going to be a very trendy pick to win that game. It's the MAAC tournament, though. To me, it's like a reset for teams. And we've seen it before. Teams come in hot, and then they lose. Or we've seen teams go in there not looking so good, and then they win. So I'm not sure what's going to happen in that one. I have to think more about it. I mean, but Mount, of course, will be a very trendy pick as a 6th seed to beat the 3rd seeded Red Foxes. Staying on that side of the bracket, so then the Mount Marist winner would play either Merrimack or Sacred Heart or Fairfield in the semifinal at 8:30 on Friday. It's hard for me to say that anybody's going to beat Merrimack coming out of that side of the bracket. That does seem like the easier side of the bracket right now. So we'll see if that comes to pass. Last year, the 2 seed did reach the final. I wouldn't, just looking at this field right now, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened again. Merrimack's got a decent path, but they've got to find enough support for Bud Clark, who is my player of the year, by the way. It's not Monroe from Quinnipiac. All right, and now going back to the other potential semifinal, we would have Quinnipiac or Ryder or Siena against the Iona Manhattan winner. Quinnipiac did fall last year in the semis to 5 seed St. Peter's. I do think Quinnipiac could easily fall again to the winner of the Iona Manhattan game. They usually don't see like upsets multiple years in a row like that from the same team. So I would also not be shocked if Quinnipiac actually gets out of that bracket and gets to the championship game. But Iona Manhattan, the winner of that game is going to be feeling awfully good going into that semifinal. That game would be 6 p.m. On Friday. Both semifinals, by the way, are on ESPN News. Semifinals 6 p.m. and 8:30. So keep in mind out for that. The rest of the earlier rounds are all ESPN Plus, and the final, of course, is Saturday 7:30 on ESPNU, and it's going to be fun. I mean, if you asked me who I thought was going to win this tournament, I've said all along, if you're in the top 6, you got a shot. I still feel that way. I think anybody in the top 6 could win the tournament. I'm going to go against that a little bit here and say I don't think even Marist and Mount, whoever wins that game is going to feel a little better about themselves going into what would be a potential matchup with Merrimack. But this is why the tournament is fun. There's nothing that's so obvious that they're going to win. But right now I still feel like Merrimack is a safe pick to come out of that side of the bracket. On the other side, it's going to be Iona, Quinnipiac, or Manhattan, and it's 3 out of the 6 teams I just gave you. I understand that, so that's fun. That's what makes it fun. So we'll see how all that turns out. And again, if you tune into a Twitter space, I'll probably have a full prediction for you who I think actually is going to come out of that bracket and come out of the full bracket and represent the MAAC in the NCAA tournament. I would say this: I think Quinnipiac or Merrimack will not be in Dayton. They might be 16 seeds. There's chances, outside shot of 15, and they might get 15. I think just about anybody else that we can think of here is probably headed to Dayton, which would be fun. And as an Iona fan, I would sign for that right now. So we will see. Anyway, this is going to be an interesting week for sure. It's funny when you get the draw like Iona's gotten here with Manhattan, and they probably feel the same way. It's like, wow, that stinks that we're playing each other this early, because you can see Iona and Manhattan both making runs in this thing the way that they finished the year. But hey, MAAC gonna MAAC, as they say. Anyway, if you've never been to the MAAC tournament, do it. Go. It's fun. And of course, one other thing that would have been an iota that I didn't think about until just now would be talking about the tournament brackets, how it's all going to fall for next year. But we have an entire off season to get into that. But yeah, I love going to MAAC tournament. I'm going to be there on Tuesday, and I'll be there for through Friday's games, and of course through Saturday if Iona's still in it. But I love going. It's fun to watch these games in person. Everything is a war, absolute war. It's meant for hoop junkies. So you should go check it out if you've never gone. It's worth it. So on that note, I am going to wrap up. I know what has been probably our longest episode in quite some time. So thank you. If you made it to this point, thank you for listening. Thank you as always for listening to this podcast. Again, I don't know when the next episode will be, whether I'll come to you for live from AC or wait till we're done and then come to you guys. I have no idea. We'll just, when the mood strikes me, I'll put up an episode and I'll give you all a heads up and maybe even grab a guest or two down there. So, and I know we haven't had guests lately on this either. So it's been a weird season. Let's put it that way. So anyway, enjoy the tournament, everyone. This is a fun time of year. Root for our Gales. They are our Gales. The MAAC is what it is. It's our league. Let's go out and have some fun and take everyone in our path down, cut down the nets, and go to the NCAA tournament like we're so used to doing around here. So good luck to everybody, and get down to Atlantic City, people, and root for those Gales. And thank you again for listening. As always, go Gales.
Thank you for listening to this edition of the IonaHoops.com podcast. This podcast is a production of IonaHoops.com and its publisher Guy Filatico. The opinions shared during this podcast are those of Guy Filatico, IonaHoops.com, and any featured guests. This podcast is not affiliated with Iona University Athletics or the university itself. Thank you for supporting IonaHoops.com.